And we are back once again. Thanks for tuning in to the Still Knick Fans podcast. This is episode number 15, the Big 15. I'm your man, Ron, and this is my brother, John. What's going on, bro?
Chilling, man. Can't believe it. 15, man, so quick.
Time is flying,
That's
man. Time is flying.
crazy.
I don't know, man. It's like,
And we
who
still
knows?
doing well.
That's
We're
the
still
craziest
locked
part.
in.
Like the fact is we are able to talk about these Knicks and they're doing good. Like,
Right.
there's something good to talk about.
I think we started this podcast at the right time. It's
I
almost
agree. We could have
interesting.
did
We
this
would have
last year. It would have been rough.
it would have been a tough season. We would have
Yeah.
probably tried to hang it up. Like, I don't know if we could do this anymore. But look, we're starting out in a pretty good year, man. They're super thankful.
You and me both, brother. You and me both. This is fantastic. I don't have to worry about people. Yo, why are you wasting your time, man?
True. Yo, so true. I didn't even think about it like that. People would have been like, hitting us up with those curveballs for real.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. Now they're like, oh, you got a podcast? Let's talk about the Knicks. Oh, I'm interested. Sign me up.
Exactly.
Where can I see it? Where can I find it? That's pretty cool. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So without further ado, why don't we kind of jump back into our usual thing of predictions and
Oh,
how you
how
and me
great you
both. I
were.
mean, we both
Oh,
well, I don't want to say that I was right, but I wasn't wrong.
right.
So the good thing about it is I believe the Knicks are now, is it 2 games over 500?
I think we're just the one.
Sixers. Yeah, because they broke. Yeah,
we broke. Yeah.
Right. And so this last game over the Wizards put us back up one. Got it. Yep. Yeah, man.
But
So I mean,
I take it. I'll take it.
I got to tell you, this has got to be one of the weirdest things. Like, this is the weirdest Nick runs ever. They are in every single game. They have a chance to win every game. And then you look at it and you're like, damn, man, the refs is killing us. Something's happening. They're doing everything to make us lose. Oh, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you happen to see on Twitter or on the internet anywhere. There's been a picture floating around of the referee that called the Knicks games. Both of them,
right,
used to be a 76er.
Okay, so
I mean, there's no conflict there. I mean,
none at all.
Jeez.
No,
okay.
once they put on the stripes, man, it's all forgotten, right?
Oh yeah.
History don't play a part.
Nah.
I move away.
I mean, I just thought that was crazy. That's the first. I don't know if I've ever seen that before, where I seen an NBA ref calling the games. I mean, because I know Hayward Workman is a NBA ref, but I never see him calling the Pacers games.
Interesting.
So that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Well,
whatever.
Hey, listen,
anyway,
we've still, we've still pushed through a lot of those games, even though we had calls go against us, we were right there. At any moment in time, we just make a couple of shots here and there, make a stop. We either win a game, so those games are winnable. That's all I could care for,
Yeah.
And we're winning the games we're supposed to be winning, like against Wizards, who are, underperforming this year because of injury and because of, who they have as their starting point guard. I don't want to name names, but, Westbrook could take it and give it to you, right? Like, he could take it all away, or he could be super dynamic. Depends on the day.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, it is what it is. The Knicks have to just continue to put themselves in better positions to win basketball games, because they know that they're going to be in situations where, it could come down to the refs. And if the refs have, anything to do with it, it may not go in the Knicks' favor. So they got to figure out, ways to kind of keep themselves with a good amount of lead, maybe 5 or 6, going down the stretch to avoid these type of games, because
Yeah.
margin of error, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So
But
true.
I did like the fact that the first game the Sixers played last week. I mean, when they played the Sixers last week, it was a close game, and things just didn't work out. And then when they played them again, things at some points got a little out of hand, and they brought it back, and then they had a chance to win down the stretch once again. I like the fact that this team fights, man, and they were fighting, mind you, still without Derrick Rose.
Yeah. And
And
did Mitch play that game? I
Mitch
think
played, but I don't think Peyton played.
minimal minutes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Peyton didn't play. Right.
Peyton
Right.
didn't play. So, they're basically fighting with the same group, and no real
Hmm.
point guard play.
Right.
Um, but it was still a good game, and they had a chance to win down the stretch, but it just didn't work out.
But you see also quickly's, kind of learning, you know what I mean? That's also good, to good we end up seeing kind of like him learning in a game, which is important for his growth, like having an opportunity to start is huge. At least in my opinion, it is, you got to kind of trial by fire, you
Hmm.
got to experience it in order to know how to develop your game to fit and to match the competition. So I think it's a good thing that he had an opportunity to start. I think they chose him over Nelankina, and then Nelankina probably had a couple of starts also, right? He had one or two when
Yeah,
Quickly was out.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's good. I think it's all good, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited. I was happy about the way we played. I like the grit from our team. I like that we band together, even when we're down. And it's good coaching too, all the way around. Good coaching.
And another good thing about it is I definitely think at this point the Knicks have kind of bought into the system. Everybody
Hmm.
knows what's expected and how you're supposed to play. They may not all execute the right way every time, but they know what they're supposed to do. So it's not a guessing game. Like the system, you just got
Right.
to go out there and do it, and it shows because they're playing so
Hmm.
much better.
Yeah, we still top three in defense, if not top one. I mean, we
Yeah.
still bringing it every game, every time. And even when folks are, either tired or or not feeling, up to like their normal selves,
Hmm.
they may not be shooting the ball well. They may not, they may feel a little bit tired, but they're still bringing in the effort and they're playing team defense. You see everyone on the string, as they like to call it, and that's
Right.
important because everyone's backing each other up. If you get past your defense, if the ball handler gets past the defender, there's always someone behind looking and kind of covering that area. So
Yep.
we don't really give much easy points in the paint, which is important.
It's true, and I think the good thing about them is at certain points, they I don't know who flips the switch, but they turn it up. I just wish if they could play, like that, for maybe I don't know, 2 quarters of the game.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a lot of intensity, so I don't know how it's easy to say because they're
Right.
expanding a lot of energy or expensing a lot of energy when they're doing that. Because when they get into that rapid defense, when they're like all up in everybody's face and they're cutting passing lanes off, I mean, it's great to
Right.
watch. It's just hard to continue to do it, I guess, for 48 minutes. Tough, which
Right.
I understand.
Plus we end up going into these shooting slumps, and it's partly because we like you said we expend so much energy on the defensive end that sometimes offensively we don't have it, and it's good to have young legs. You know what I mean? Like those youngsters that we do have,
Right.
because you see it in moments more recently than ever before. Randall is needing some time and needs a breather, and Barrett's been showing out. Broadway
Man,
Barrett, man.
man. Woo. Listen, I think it's so funny, man, because I mean, I'm guilty of it too, but a lot of Nick fans. So I'm just playing back a lot of the conversations we've had and
Right.
listening to other Nick fans. There was a point even I was ready to jump off the Barrett bandwagon. I was like,
No, no,
I
no.
don't know, maybe you got to go.
I don't think I got there. I don't think I
No,
got
you
there.
didn't.
I don't think I did.
You stood.
Yeah.
You were Team Stan Pat, man. You was still in his corner.
I was though. However, I did say I am going to stop wearing the shirt if he keeps going through the slump. I
Yeah,
said
you
that,
did
but
say that. Okay.
I was still behind him. I think he's one of those guys. He's going to be like a team builder. He's someone who we have to build off of in the future. So we'll see.
Um,
Did I freeze? Oh.
I think I froze here.
Oh, did you freeze?
Uh,
Let's see. All right. Let's keep it going.
can you still hear me?
I could hear you.
Oh man. All right. Let me hold it down for a minute. Let me come back into
All right,
this.
cool. So yeah, what can we talk about? So yeah, enjoying our season so far. We've been doing solid work. Um and it's been great coaching, great coaching by Coach Tibbs and the rest of his coaching staff. I really have enjoyed kind of just the work-like approach, workmanship-like approach they did. Hey, there you go, Ron. You're back on.
All
What
right.
happened? You just froze up there.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. It
It's all
happens.
good.
It
It's all
happens.
good. Well, like what I was saying, I'm really enjoying the way Coach Tibbs has been coaching this team, and just like how involved the coaching staff has been. I think it's showing itself, and even our bench players are starting to, like when they get an opportunity, they seem interested. They're in the game. Their heads are in the game. Like you said again, they may not always execute, but they're they're handling themselves like true workmen. You know what I mean? Like kind of like the workman attitude. Like they come to work every day. And then they leave and keep it professional. So
Right.
love to see that.
Yeah. I agree with you, definitely. The other thing I was going to say is, I thought it was really interesting that after the back to back losses to the Sixers, I mean, it's like this is common sense, but it's nice to see your team because even though we've been Knicks fans forever, we've seen the Knicks when they play
Mhm.
teams that they should beat, they still lose. They were a
Right.
bad team, but
Mhm.
they know that when they play a team like the Wizards, they especially after losing back-to-back games to the 76ers, you got to go out there and try to, and they came out guns blazing
The
against
first
the
game.
they were ready. They
That
were on
second game
fire.
had me a bit worried though. The second game when they started off a little rough.
I
You know,
think the second game actually to me was more well,
it was
I think it was
exciting as
more
a fan.
impressive and
Of
exciting. Yeah,
course,
because
of course.
I didn't think as time kept going by, I was like, well, when are they going to turn it on? Are they going to change the pace of this? And I was waiting, and then it finally happened.
Right.
I was worried for a little bit
It was
though.
a bit unexpected though. Like to be
Yeah.
honest, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're like, Randall's not having a really good game. Started wearing down. Then he got a little thigh bruise, and you could see him, messing with his leg a little bit and trying to get it right. And it was just like Barrett kept them in that game. Burks kept them in that game, and then allowed for kind of gave other guys time to catch up. Like
Hmm.
then you start seeing quickly get it going, and Gibson was huge on the offensive and defensive end. Um, for a guy who's what is he like almost 38 something like that? He's up there.
Yeah, he's up there.
You know what I mean? And that was nice to see. Um, but yeah, like you said, it was a more exciting game because it was gritty. It was down to the wire, and an impressive win. I would say so myself. It was an impressive win.
No, that was definitely good. And another good thing about it is, well, usually, I mean, I don't know if that's always the case, but since I've been watching basketball, historically, the back-to-back games are always, one team comes out and they win the game, and then the next game, the other team has more fire, more grit. So they
Right,
may not take the game, but they're in a better position to win the game because
right.
they just saw what you did against them, and so they come out. And so the fact that the Knicks were able to come back and rebound and take the lead, and without Julius Randle doing much, like RJ Barrett stepped
Hmm.
up. I mean, he had a great game.
Right, right. He
Um,
did. He had an amazing game, but you got to give credit where credit's due. At the end of the game,
yeah,
that
yeah,
they gave it to Randall. He iced it for him.
yes,
You
he
know what I
did.
mean? So
And
gotta
and
like that.
and and I think say what you will, Burks has been playing good basketball lately.
It's the
Wasn't for
last
Burks.
5 games he scored
Yeah,
over
he's been
20.
playing. Yeah, okay. All right,
Sounds
Alec
like a
Burks.
ricer. So,
Hmm.
but nah, he's been playing really well. You can't listen. That's what we got him for. That's what we were hoping to get when we signed him.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we let Ellington go is like, well, we'll lose a shooter, but we'll gain someone who can do a little bit more. He has a nice mid range. He can take it to the basket. He can shoot the three. He's a lot more versatile kind of player,
Yeah.
especially because we kept Reggie Bullock. And Wayne Ellington and Reggie Bullock are similar in style of play, but Reggie Bullock plays better defense. So
That's the key.
that was the key.
If Ellington played better defense, he might still
Mhm.
be here, and Bullock might not.
Well,
Or
not
maybe there would be no need for Burks.
maybe because remember Ellington doesn't do anything but shoot the three. He doesn't
What
really
I'm
drive
saying.
to the
If he played
basket.
it, yeah, if he
Yeah.
played but Burks, I mean, no, not Burks. Bullock doesn't do much either. He's not
No, I
great as a
know, but
finisher.
it would have been between the two of them, not really Burks. It would have been,
Yeah, I
you know what I
guess.
mean? Because they were
Yeah,
both on the team last year. We kept the better defender because they
good
play
point.
similar games. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then bringing in Burks is the guy who kind of more versatile. He can play off the ball and with the ball in his hands, and he does a little bit more. He's a little bit more of a dynamic player. So it was a good pickup by the Knicks. Leon
yeah.
Rose.
No,
There
I
you go.
agree.
Once again, they're doing, you know, great
That's the
picks.
thing. I think probably well, we're New Yorkers anyway, and then
Hmm.
other New Yorkers, patience is sometimes tough. But some
Yeah.
of these guys, it needs a lot of time to pan out to really see what you got.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing with the guys that we think we know about, like Peyton. You know,
Right.
Peyton
He's
was
played well.
horrible in the beginning, but he's been playing good. I mean, how
He's
many
played
games has Peyton
good.
played well? Like
Yeah.
he's had a
For the
good season.
season, he had
Yeah,
a
he's
really
had a
good
good
season.
season.
Yeah, and his free throws are getting better. He may not be shooting the 3-pointer at a high clip and not a good ratio, but he's never really been a 3-point shooter. But as a floor general, as a starting point guard, he's had really good numbers. So I wasn't a fan. I'm still like I'm not crazy over Peyton at all. Like, but I'm not unhappy about his play. I think he's played well, and I think he's deserving of that starting point guard at least for this year, position wise. I think he deserves it. He's played hard.
Yeah.
He's put in the effort, and he brings it every night.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think he definitely if he stays on the Knicks roster next year, I wouldn't
Right.
be mad at it. I mean, I do think that the Knicks definitely need to find ways to improve. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's strictly through the draft and maybe a free agent or two, depending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if they go out there and they pick up another good quality young point guard type, like because apparently they're going to revisit their interest in Lonzo Ball in the offseason. Say
Right.
if Lonzo Ball comes into the team. I mean, if Peyton doesn't mind coming off the bench and being that type of guy to help spell Ball and help spell Rose, because I think at that point Quickly will just be the shooting guard. I don't think you need if you
Yeah.
had Lonzo Ball and you got Derrick Rose and you got like I don't think you would want Quickly to worry about being the point guard. It could happen, but you don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting take. I mean, you can go different routes with it. But seeing when you look at types, and when you talk about height and the way you play with players with height, Lonzo Ball is about 6'3", 6'4", too, right? He's about
Mm-hmm.
the same size as the rest of the guys. He isn't that much taller, but his skill sets are a bit different. It seems like his game at least this year, his game is better as a shooting guard than it is a point guard, right? Like his stats are better when he's playing the off guard than it is when he's playing the one. So, I mean, I don't know. You would have to see what it looks like. I think they're somewhat interchangeable. I think if you put them side by side, when you talk about Quickly, you get one's a better passer than Lonzo Ball. He's a better passer, but then when you look at Quickly, he's probably the better shooter. So I don't know. It's a catch-22. Who do you prefer? Who plays better defense? I think Lonzo has probably the better upside defensively.
The length helps.
But again, Quickly's a rookie. Yeah, yeah. So it's all dependent. Like for me, I'm not mad either way. I'm just looking at it to see if you want to bring Lonzo Ball. Hopefully, it fits. But I don't. There's an influx of guards here, so then someone's going to
Yeah,
miss
they would
out,
have to make
right?
some
And
changes. Yeah. So
yeah, it's gonna be too many guards. So so we'll see how that looks, And again, I wouldn't be mad if Peyton comes back another year. I just don't know if I want him to be the starting point guard for the
right,
future.
right.
You know what I
Well,
mean? I think this is good for this year. Let's revisit that next year and see if somebody can win the job. Because I think this year was more like you ran point last year. You understand the system. We're sticking with you because you have the experience, and we didn't have Rose, right? Because if Rose and Payton start the year out, Rose automatically becomes a starting point guard of this team. Automatically, it's not even a question in my mind. And then we probably don't even see Quickly this year play that many minutes. We may see him in
it's a
spots.
good point. It's a good
You know what
point.
I mean? So I'm glad that it happened the way it did because now we at least know we got one solidified, rookie, and we're hoping that things turn around for Toppin, which I think it will. I think it will. I think
I think
he's got that character.
it all depends on the Knicks draft positioning, to be honest.
Right.
Because if somehow the Knicks wind up with a top pick, one of those picks becomes a top first round pick, could be tough because the
Right.
way this draft is, there's a lot of those tweener guys like around his height that are
Right.
better skilled, and if they
Right.
get one of those guys like a Kuminga or something,
Mm,
Toppin's got to go. You can't keep him. There's no way.
right.
So I hope that's not. I mean, granted, I do love Kuminga as a Knick fan. I want it, but I feel
Right.
bad for the kid. But we'll see what happens.
Kaminga plays the 3-4.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's like 6'8",
Yeah.
but he's
He
his
can stretch the
athleticism
floor and he's athletic.
and
Right.
he's got ball handling skills, and he's got moves, so he can get to the rim
Yeah.
whenever he wants.
Yeah, he's a lot more ready, NBA ready from what you consider to be NBA ready style of play.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, definitely. I was watching him playing those pickup games with like Beasley and these other NBA players. He
right?
was giving them the business.
Nice. Listen, hopefully
We'll
we
see.
get to a point where we're right there and we have an opportunity. But if we don't, I'm still happy with where we at. I'm still happy with the moves that they made. Knicks and Leon Rose in the front office. Making sure that we still have some um, quality picks. For next year's draft and in the future. So
Yeah,
we're in good
and,
shape, man.
and when you think about it, did the Knicks maybe not hit on Knox? Possibly, but it's not for lack of like the guy's got ability. There may be something missing with him, and that's the reason why it's not all coming together.
Right.
But everybody else outside of Toppin, because we still don't know what we got in Toppin yet. It doesn't look good at the moment, but we don't know what we got. But everybody else has been what they thought they were going to be. Like Mitch has been what we expected, and he could still be better.
Right.
Quickly is what they thought he would be, a good shooter that can do a lot more. He's a rookie,
Right.
and he's growing.
Right.
And Frank, say what you want about him, but they knew Frank was a defender who could
Right.
shoot a little bit. But so he's just doing what they kind of expected. They knew he was raw. Hopefully he gets
Right.
better, but it is
Right.
what it is.
I really do think though that with someone like Frank, given the opportunities, giving him the confidence that he needs to shoot the ball, I think is the biggest key for Frank, right? Because it
Yeah.
seems like, and it's the same thing for me with Toppin too. It's like I'm not sure if they're convinced that they can be free when it comes to shooting the ball. You know what I mean? I'm almost sure that they're in the back of their minds, they're like, I want to make the right play, and in their minds, the right play every play is to pass the ball. And so we see them in the court kind of giving up shots and then running out of time. You know what I mean? Like you end up overpassing the ball, and then now we're up against the clock. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
great. I mean, they happened like that one play with Randall, where it's like, dude, go for the layup, and you're overpassing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's interesting how they, like the mind starts to wonder a bit. So,
I mean, you definitely see it.
yeah,
it's easy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah. So let's see, man. I'm liking where we're at, like I said, and um, I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the development of this team. You're starting to see it develop right in front of our eyes. We start seeing them really get to it and really understand the gravity of what's happening, with this
Yeah.
team.
No, I agree. But I hope that something happens. Like I said, it'll. I don't think they're ready to give up on Toppin as of yet, and
Yeah.
it's still to be seen what happens with Frank. But it was interesting because the first game of the back to back with the Wizards,
Right.
I saw because it was a blowout. They had eventually pulled Randall out at one point,
It
and
was
he was
super
on the
late.
sideline. Yeah, it
Right.
was soup. I don't know what that's about, but whatever.
Right.
Um, he was talking to Toppin. Like they were watching
Right.
the game and he was talking to
Yes.
him. And that's good because he gotta,
Yeah.
help him out, man.
Right. He also was talking to him during the game right before they pulled him out. He was telling him as they kind of cross paths, he's like, "Yo, shoot the ball." You could tell him, you could see him telling him shoot the ball, and and then he went back later in that game and had that one-on-one kind of explaining what he should be seeing. But
Right.
yeah, the same thing goes for both Knox and Nelinkina. I think they haven't built enough rapport or confidence with Coach Tibbs that they feel like they could go out and shoot as many shots as they feel like they can shoot.
Yeah.
Although Knox last game he put him up, he put him up. He missed them, but he put them up,
Yeah.
and they were good shots. I wasn't
Yeah.
mad at those shots because I'm like, yo, you hit one, you can get you can get a little hot from that corner, But I liked his aggressiveness, so I'm gonna give him kudos for that. Is that a riser? Hmm.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh.
We'll see where I go with it.
Man. All
So
these tidbits here. I don't
I
know.
don't
He's
know.
leading to something.
So yeah, man.
Well, it was a very eventful trade deadline, not necessarily for the Knicks, but there was a lot of movement going on that day. Actually, it was a lot of trades. A lot of people weren't necessarily happy with them because there weren't like real big names that were moving around. There was a
Right.
couple sprinkled in, but not, none of the guys like you were like, oh wow, this guy got traded. It wasn't that. But
What
the
do you
Knicks
mean?
did.
The Aaron Gordon trade wasn't huge.
Yeah, I
Oh
don't
my,
know. I don't know. That
what?
didn't that didn't shake the internet. I don't know.
It's all good, man.
um, but I will say that looks like somehow the Knicks snuck themselves in that 76ers and Thunder trade. I don't even know if if it was their trade or somehow they figured out a way to get in to kind of free up some stuff for them. But so the
Mm-hmm.
76ers added George Hill and Iggy
Right.
Brazdakis.
Brazdakis. Think it'd hurt us? Think it'd come back to haunt us?
I don't know, man. I understand, but I don't know. Look, I said I wasn't gonna do this. Man, all right, okay. And then the Knicks added Terrence Ferguson, Vincent Poirier, I guess, or something of that
Poirier.
nature.
Poirier, yeah.
Amir Prelzik,
Mm-hmm.
and they got a 2021 second round pick, which is this year's draft coming up. They got
Right.
a protected 2024 second round pick from Miami. And then the
That's good.
Thunder got Austin Rivers,
Mhm.
Tony Bradley, and they got 2025 and 2026 second round picks from the 76ers.
Sixes, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the
It's a
Knicks
decent
wound up,
trade.
yeah, it wasn't that bad. The Knicks wound up waiving the Poirier, Vincent Poirier. I think
Yeah.
Amir Prelzik is a overseas type player that they may be
Yep.
just cultivating and seeing if he'll be able to give them something later, or maybe they'll use him
Yeah.
as a trade piece.
Right.
But
They
the
generally
2020,
don't pan out those
right?
those picks,
Yeah. How
So
often do these guys come over and do much?
yeah.
But
I
the
think for the
2021
Knicks,
second round pick is good.
yeah, I think for the Knicks, it was basically getting back what you gave up for Derrick Rose, right? And also making sure that we're in line and making our roster flexible just in case we can make a move, for someone who may be, let's say, on the waiver wire. You know,
Uh
I'm not
huh.
going to
Uh huh.
name any names. We'll get
Uh
to
huh.
that.
Uh
But
huh.
I just feel like that was kind of like a roster move to just free up some space and make sure that we can, make any additional moves
Yeah,
moving forward.
because that's what happened by getting rid of Iggy and Austin
Hmm.
Rivers. You got rid of two players, so
Yeah.
you only got one back, and so you
Hmm.
got one free spot open to add someone. And I think they
Right.
still got the majority of whatever that 15 million that they had left, or 14 million. So that's good. The other thing is they got Terrence Ferguson, who I guess you could say he was a bench player for the 76ers, but the guy's got bunnies. He's got some real big hops. I mean, he's the type of guy that could be in a slam dunk competition.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, he can shoot the three a little bit, but he's not really a good shooter. So I don't know what's going to happen with him. Maybe he's just going to be a player they have on the bench, just in case of injury or something like that. He'll basically sit in Iggy's seat. So
Yeah, I can see
yeah,
that. I can see that. Again, it all depends. Unless they have, you know, a 2 day swing or a couple of days of practice, and they can see the kid kind of like show something in practice, and they feel like, okay, maybe he can take some minutes from somebody. But I don't really see him taking. I mean, he's 6'6". He's going to play the wing spot. I think we're pretty solidified with the guard play. And like you said, unless someone gets injured, I don't really see him playing any minutes. At
yeah.
least, maybe garbage minutes if we're up by a lot. But
Or barring, God forbid, any injuries. So
yeah, God
you never
forbid.
know.
But we still got Nilinkina in front of people. Quickly. Rose is coming back.
Facts.
Payton is back. Burks and
Yeah.
Bullock.
No,
That's a
no. There's
lot.
oh man, there's a lot, yo.
That's
There's
what
a
I'm
lot going
saying. Like
on.
I don't really see it. You know what I mean? And we're not
Facts.
moving anyone else. Like the
Yeah.
trade deadline is over. So if anything, we're gonna pick someone. We're gonna pick somebody up from the waiver wire to fill out our roster.
True.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, the point, I guess, the real big point is freeing up that one spot on the roster so you can add
Yeah.
someone. And coincidentally,
Mm.
today the Cleveland Cavaliers bought out Andre Drummond, and apparently the Knicks are already in conversation with Drummond. I don't know if as we speak or if it already took place, but apparently they've already been talking to him. So we'll
Yeah.
see where that goes, because I think, from what I heard, the main two teams that are interested in Drummond and have the money to kind of bring him in is the Lakers and the Knicks.
Well,
So,
the Lakers not necessarily the money, but they do
or
have.
I mean,
They don't really have the money, but they do have the position where they can
oh,
they
they
can
have the
bring
free
them in.
spot, and
They have the
maybe
free
yeah,
spot, and then they're not gonna they don't know. There's no team outside of OKC and the Knicks can give him an extension,
right, right,
and OKC isn't in the bargain right now. Like they're not they're just not in it. You know what I mean? It's not a prime destination for anyone, to be honest, at this point. So it's either he wants to go to a team that wants to win a championship or has an ability to win a championship, or look to go into it with a team like ours that has space, salary cap space, and is willing to give him an extension for somewhat the amount of money he wants. We probably can't give him everything he's looking for because he's probably thinking he can get a max deal, but I don't think we got max deal money to hand off. I think we got enough money to pull out an extension for 4 years, pay him over time. But that's where we're at. That's how I see it. And I think there's no better prime location when you can come into. I'm just gonna say it. I'm not even thinking about these other teams. I really ain't. I don't really care whether you know what I mean. Like for me, it's like this is the Knicks' best opportunity to pick up a guy like this, and he's a New York guy. You know what I mean? True and true. He's from Rochester or something like that. You know what I mean? So if he doesn't want to come home and play for the Knicks, where you will have a spot, like legitimate, he could potentially be a starter on this team, right? He could potentially be offered a starting crack at the New York Knicks with an extension. You know what I mean? And as many endorsement deals as you can possibly get. Like for me, it's a win-win. You may not get the full amount that you're asking for when it comes to like, max money, but you can make up for all of that, in
and
endorsements.
and he works for our current team. The way we play defense is that we
Of
like to slow
course.
down the tempo and the pace. So that fits a big guy like him, a traditional big man.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
actually it makes a lot of sense. Plus, I'm starting to notice. Um, I think what New York is doing on the whole kind of factors in. I
Hmm.
think a lot of what,
The
because I
coaching, World
oh,
Wide
no,
West.
yeah, but even outside of that, I mean New York in general.
Right.
Yankees are a big team. They've got
Right. Big
good players.
markets.
They're gonna
Mhm.
big market. They're gonna be winning. The Mets have
The
made
Mets.
moves.
right?
The Giants are signing.
Making moves.
Yeah, I think I
The
think the
Jets have
whole
done
New
a couple
York,
of things too. Yeah.
the Jets are gonna, and plus they got good draft picks, so they
Yeah.
may be revamping too. I think New York is gonna start looking like overall a good destination to be again.
The resurgence of New York City. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
It's the best time to be a New Yorker, or play for a New York team, So I don't know if he sees the writing on the walls or if he feels like, there's a possibility to go out and win a championship and then come back into the market and if that's the case, then so be it. You do that. But I think this is the perfect time for him to be a Knick. And if you have an opportunity like this to play for a team like this, for a coaching staff like this, for an environment like this, take it. Take it before it's gone and you don't have an opportunity to jump on again. You know what I mean? He's got to do it.
Plus, where else is he going to be able to go to a team and really you only got to worry about one other guy? It's Julius. That's it. You can do
Mm-hmm.
your thing. You're Andre Drummond. You're going to get the
Right.
ball. You're going to be able to
Right.
rebound. Although he's probably going to cut into Julius's rebounding because he's a beast. He just grabs them.
Yeah, but
They
that's what you want anyway. Like if you have both those guys battling for rebounds, hey, who's gonna argue with that? You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna complain about that. Neither will him, because now he knows, hey, I got somebody who's gonna clean the boards for me. I get more shots.
You know
You
how
know?
good you know how good the Knicks will be able to play against teams when they do miss those shots and they're not shooting right and they're getting second chances because of him on the offensive
Absolutely.
glass.
Absolutely. That's why I've been saying it for so long. I've been, a strong proponent of looking at Drummond and saying,
And it's not
hey,
about money right now because
yeah,
he's still getting his 24 mil from the Cavs. They can give him
that's
whatever.
also that's a plus too, right? He can get paid this year. They can give him the 12 million that we have on our books now, right? Because we're going to show up the salary cap and
Right.
then extend them. That's a win-win. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's a win-win. So for me, I'm so yeah, this looks like such a great pairing at this moment. It's like the stars are aligned. So let's see if it happens. If it don't, I'll be disappointed. But we've been disappointed before. It's all good.
We're Knicks fans.
We're Knicks fans, exactly. But I'm looking forward to see, But I have a question for you. What do you think? Let's say if it does happen, if it does take place, what does Drummond look like in a Knick uniform with this team? What do you see that chemistry looking like? Do you see it hindering anybody? How do you think it plays?
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna hinder anybody. If anything, I think it's gonna make players better. The only thing I could see it doing is affecting RJ Barrett because right now, Randall is the primary rebounder. He gets the most rees. And I guess Mitch is being that he's back. He seems to be getting more rebounds, but RJ's getting some of the leftover rees. Sometimes I see RJ fighting with Randall for a rebound. So.
Right.
I think that'll affect RJ's rebounding, but that's okay because RJ has proven that he can, get other players the ball, get assists, and he'll still score points. What I think is going to help is I think it's going to help those guards who, may miss a shot here and there and get a second chance, a second opportunity, which is going
Right.
to help their overall shooting percentage. But I think he probably is best suited to be the starting center. I think Mitch comes off the bench as the number 2, and I think Nerlens is the number 3, and that's it. And if you
Right.
need, then you got old man, you know, old man River to help everybody else out if there's injuries or foul trouble. But
Right. Gibson could come in
I
and
don't think
just
Gibson's going to
play
need to
extra.
play much. He'll just be that's
Teacher coach, right?
teacher coach, right?
Right.
So I think it
Or
works good.
coach, player coach, I should say, teacher
Yeah,
coach, player coach.
as long as Mitch doesn't have any issue with coming off the bench, he's coming off the bench now as we speak because he's still trying to round into basketball form. But
Right.
as long as he doesn't have an issue with that, I mean, the bottom line is, come on, you're gonna know that. Look, if we get Drummond, he's a defensive presence. He's gonna grab Breeze. We're gonna be a better team. Maybe we can
Right.
make some noise. That's the point, and I think that's what you want to do.
Right. Well, here's the thing I've been thinking of. I'm gonna spin it a little bit different because I'm hearing exactly what you're saying, and I agree. And and I hear a lot of other folks, right, speak about it. I've been reading some stuff. I've been listening to other podcasts and hearing kind of how folks are thinking about this, kind of collective coming together if it happens. Here's the thing for me. What would I could see a scenario where our starting five is Mitchell Robinson at the five, Drummond at the four, Randall at the three, Bullock at the, Barrett at the two, and Peyton at the one. I could see it. I could see a scenario where you go big, and you know that versatility when you talk about ball handling. Because when you think about Drummond, people don't think they think about his physical presence. They don't understand. They don't really pay attention to the kind of offensive threat he can be, and he's got a good handle. He's a good passer. I talked about this the last time.
You did.
And he could stretch it out a bit. He doesn't necessarily have to shoot threes, but he could stretch it out to at least 15, 20 feet perimeter, you know, and that opens the space up for everyone else too. If you can pass off the post, you can do the lob to Mitchell, you can play pick and
Good point.
roll, you can do so many different things. And more importantly, Randall has played the point forward this entire season, which generally isn't playing off the block. He's generally
That's
not
true.
playing off the block. He's
That's
playing
true.
really kind of mellow ball. When I'm looking at him, I'm like, yo, this is what Melo was playing. He's playing that position. Um, you know, so I could see that potentially happening, and then that will then again alleviate any noise. It would, Bullock is willing to come off the bench as we've seen. He's such a unselfish kind of player. Marrying him with quickly and with Burks and with Rose, you can mix and match as you see fit. You know what I mean? But I could see a scenario where you can do that. I also see the scenario where you have Drummond start, like you said, and have Mitchell come off the bench. That's just gives you a lot more um, depth, in your bench. Bringing in Noel as a power forward instead of a center, you can do that. You know what I mean? Once you have a Drummond in your team, you can mix and match and play however you want to play. Because at the end of the day, it's not who starts the game, it's who ends the game, and that's the most important part of this whole
That's
trade for me.
it's a good point. And
Yeah.
it does give them a lot more flexibility. I mean, they've basically had to play a lot of small ball this year.
Yep.
So they can always do that if they need
Mm-hmm.
to against a lot of teams that they need more quickness or be able to score like easier fast break opportunities. But
Right.
then when you face teams like the 76ers, when you have a healthy Embiid,
Right.
that scenario that you mentioned sounds great. Having Drummond and
Mm-hmm.
and Mitch and Randall in there.
And
That's
Noel, because you
yeah.
really have the influx. You have a very multitude amount of, like, you have versatility everywhere in every position. Even if you go down the line and you want to bring in a Knox for a couple of minutes just for length, you can do that. Even Toppin for length, you can do that.
Mhm.
But I think what that does, it doesn't force you to play Toppin before his time, right? I think
Right.
Toppin at that point can take a back seat, can watch more, potentially play less, but watch more and learn more, as he develops and really take that on and into his practice game. So we see a different Toppin next year. But at least for this year, you have Noel who can come in. He seems to be more and more confident offensively in the last few games too. So he could come in for Randall, or for Drummond, or what I mean. He can mix and match. So I like it. I think this, like I said, the stars could be aligned this year, and it's going to make all the world the difference, and then Knicks is looking at like a potential run in the playoffs. That's a definite run in the playoffs.
That's very true. I mean, this
But
team, if you get Drummond with the team that we got currently, this
mhm,
team looks to me, if I'm thinking, if I can remember who we had, I think this team looks better than the team we had when we made the playoffs, when we had Jason Kidd and Rasheed
right,
Wallace. I think this team, like the way they play and their defense, is a
hmm,
better team than that team if you add Drummond.
yeah, yeah. I would even say, like, even with the Melo Stoudemire first year, they're a better team.
Mm,
Because I think they have Chandler, Stoudemire, and
yeah.
and yeah, it was the first year, right? And then everybody
Hmm.
started getting injured. But yeah, even they're better than that team too. So and they're younger. too. Like, I mean, he's 20, what, 26, 27, Drummond? He's
I
about
think
that.
he's
He's about
27.
older,
Yeah, yeah,
27. He's older than Randall. So if he's 27, he's still young, under 30, so, and he didn't play the last few games with Cleveland. He kept it professional, kept it, kept healthy, and said all the right things, done all the right things. He's already a part of that kind of culture. So it's great. You know, I see it as a win-win, man. I'm hoping. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
yeah, yeah. Even if it's one of those situations where they just bring him in for this year, check, how he plays
Yeah.
with the chemistry and the fit.
Yeah.
It's still it's a nice. I would be very happy with him just
Right.
getting a look at the organization and us getting a look at him with the Knicks.
Yeah. Yes, I just don't see that happening because if he's going to come to the Knicks, he's going to come for that extension.
Yeah, but he doesn't
You know
have to
what I mean?
sign it right now. As long as he's on the roster, he can still get that extension at any point. But just to
Yeah.
get him in the building is the key,
Yeah,
especially
but
because he's already getting paid.
you're married the question to Lakers who have just come off a victory, championship victory, with the understanding that LeBron is back and AD may or may not be hurt. So you have an opportunity to start there and win a championship. So like that's why I'm saying like what we have the potential to do is we can nail it in the coffin by saying we are willing to extend you. You know what I mean? Like there's not even a question. We're not even trying to wait. We know what you're capable of doing. We know what you could bring to our team. We're offering you this extension if you come to play with us now. Because it may not be here if you decide to go to LA. You can get what I'm saying?
That's
So
true. I see your point. That's the extra little bit of
right.
incentive.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But until that happens, we're gonna go with the same squad we got and be happy with what they're doing.
Yeah. I wish there was a deadline, right? For them to make a move. Like it
Yeah,
should be
man.
by the end of the week, of next week.
But
Don't
maybe they got a self-imposed deadline that we don't
It's
know
true.
about. That
It's
they
true.
negotiate. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But that brings me to the risers and fallers.
Wow.
Uh, yeah. I don't know, man, because to me this is not as clear cut and easy for the risers portion of it. Fallers, I can find you a
Pick a
faller.
faller. You can find one.
Yeah. I got one. But as far as the risers go, you mentioned a couple possibilities. Do you have one in mind?
I have a couple in mind, and I could go with it in so many different ways. But I'm gonna go off the limb, and I'm gonna go with part because I was thinking Gibson, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, because I know what he's gonna bring, right? I know he's gonna bring. He's gonna bring it day to day, but he is still that player coach in my mind, right? So I'm gonna go with Knox where I went there and before. I'm going with Knox, and this is the reason why I'm saying riser. He's gotten more minutes the last few games, right?
Which we knew was going to happen.
Specifically the last game, right? And now we're starting to see the trend where Toppin, starts to exit a little bit earlier, and soon enough he will not be getting those minutes, right? Barring any trades that may happen, right? Because Drummond could mess it all up for Knox, to be honest. But barring any trades, if our roster stay the same, the riser for me will be Knox because he's going to start getting more minutes. He's going to start getting more looks, and we may get a resurgence, to his game, especially off the bench. If he can knock down some threes, he's starting to be more aggressive. We'll see. I think for him, the biggest hurdle he has is defensively. If he could come in without making those mental lapses, taking away the baseline, making sure that he's not giving up the baseline and not creating like unnecessary fouls when he's in the game, then I think he'll get more minutes, he'll get more playing time and more confidence from his coach. Because I think we already know he can knock down shots if he gets the ball. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Knox.
That works. And I think that he should try to be a little bit more aggressive, depending on who's in the game when he's in the game. But if
Right.
Mitch is in the game, maybe you got to overplay your guy. Get up in his face. If he beats you to the rim, you got Mitch there to help cover, or even Nerlens.
He could do it
I
with
think
both, right?
he could do that. He needs to try to be a little bit more aggressive on defense.
Yeah,
But
he
I like the pick.
just stay away from giving up baseline because no one could help you if you give away baseline.
Well, the
Right?
baseline is, yeah, that's it.
Send the offensive player to the center. Push them to the to help defense. You don't just give up the baseline. So, and I think that's what they're practicing anyway, and that's why he kind of fell out of touch because he was not paying attention to those things. So I think the second opportunity he'll think about it and do a lot better. But
Yeah. No. Well, I think that my riser, I just I feel like I owe him, even though this is not a foreign name.
Right.
It's, to me, it's RJ Barrett. I think I just owe him that. I got to give him his kudos, Joe. He's been great. I can't be mad at the guy.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
He's been
like
solid.
he's been playing fantastic basketball. He's been averaging like 20 a game for the last like 12 games or whatever it's been.
Right.
And he's basically taken on. I mean, he's going up against the last couple games, even though the team may not be that good as a whole, but individually, he's been going up against Bradley Beal. Like, they've been having battles.
Good players. He played against Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
He was guarding Ben Simmons.
That's a good one that you brought up, because the first time the 76ers played the Knicks, Ben Simmons was giving RJ the business. Yeah. He was giving him the business, man.
Yeah, but you see how Barrett learned, right? Barrett figured it out, and now he's stronger. You know what I mean? He's putting in the work. It's showing, and that confidence. A kid like that, man, you can see his confidence build. And once his confidence is top, once it's through the roof, who knows? He's 20 years old, man. 20 years old, bro.
And that's the thing, man. I think, it's one of those things where we looked at his game, and, the way he moves is kind of, he's kind of stiff in a way, the way he moves.
The strength,
but he's strong, right? And then he doesn't have necessarily all the touch you would like, but maybe, more repetition over time, he can develop more of it.
That mid-range, though, has been key.
The mid-range has been, I would agree with that. But it's his pedigree, his makeup. And that's what the NBA scouts and people have been talking about for so long. The fact that, his father was a professional athlete, the fact that his godfather is Steve Nash, and they've worked together. He's been in all the circuits. He's played on the best teams. He was around Zion on Duke. Like, he's got that pedigree.
You was big on him coming out of Duke. I mean, I remember you telling me, "Hey, we got the better player," and I was like, "Okay, I agree. We'll see."
I still think, like, if you would have asked me last year,
Zion is the attraction, definitely, without a doubt.
I would still think that Barrett was going to be better for a career,
right?
Because I'm also worried about Zion's health. That body type is tough, and eventually it's going to get worse.
Listen, at first when we made the draft, I was like, man, too bad we couldn't get a Zion or whatever. We couldn't trade up or whatever the case is. But I ain't mad at the pick. I'm loving the pick now. I mean, you can see it, like you can see his progression. Where Zion, he sort of reached his max, right? Because he is that highlight reel, and you're not gonna get much else from him. He may start shooting a better clip from the 3-point line, but most of his points are from the from the paint. He's by the basket, most of the time. So Barrett has that mid-range touch. He's got that, he's learning how to use that mid-range, which made Kobe a full-on career in the NBA, right? That's basically what Kobe took from Michael, took that mid-range game, and then he expanded outward. Barrett's similar, and I'm glad that he's learning to, take advantage of the mid-range and then stretch the floor when you have an opportunity, because it's only going to help his game, So
no, I agree.
I love the riser pick, man. I'm a Barrett guy.
I know.
Barrett guy now. So are you.
So I mean, that's who I would go with, and I just hope he continues to play this type of basketball and continues to do the little things that help a team win. And I guess
defensively, he's been on it too, right?
Yeah, no, he's definitely been playing better defense too. He's been right there with whoever he's guarding. Even if he gets beat here and there, it's happening less frequently than it used to happen before. Like he's just becoming a better ball player. That's it.
Right.
He's learning the speed of the NBA.
Absolutely.
So I guess I'll kick it off with the faller. and then
Oh,
let you clean it up.
gotta
I'm
bench
gonna
press that
say
one.
I'm gonna say the faller is
He's gone. You
probably
can't pick Austin
no.
anymore.
I'm not gonna pick Austin. That's cheating. That's cheating. No, I'm gonna say the faller is probably Obi Toppin. I know
Yeah,
it's out on the limb that I picked him, but it's yeah.
yeah.
No,
It's
but
unfortunate. I think
I
it's not
can't
a.
really
It's,
say
yeah,
it's him.
yeah. It's not like it's a faller to the state to the kind of like detriment of his career, right? It's like you're a faller because you still need time to grow and you still need time to learn. You know what I mean? And right now, it doesn't seem like you're capable of learning during game time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and like next week, he technically he can go on being the faller. I'm not going to
yeah,
continue to pick him, but this is
true,
the week
right?
that it's pertinent because you could already see his minutes dropping, so
Yeah,
it makes sense. So
it
yeah, I
does.
would say that, and we already know the reasons, and obviously I do think that he'll become a better NBA player at some point. I hope it's with the Knicks. It may not be,
Right,
but I think right now it's just all about tough love and learning some lessons and learning how to play in the NBA. It sucks
right,
because he's supposed to be the guy who's older and comes in, with more basketball experience than some of these other young guys, but doesn't translate to the NBA. He doesn't have that NBA experience, or
right,
he hasn't mastered the speed of the game. He
right.
doesn't get it yet.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's hard for me to pick a faller this year. This year for real. This year, it's hard to pick a faller. Um, but the last couple of weeks, man, has been interesting because this week was a really good week for us. I mean,
Yeah,
I think everybody played really, really well. Like you said, outside of Toppin, who didn't really get an opportunity to really show much when he was in there, or didn't show much when he was in there. So it's like I don't know who to pick. It's a tough one because everyone's
it
played really,
is.
really well. You know,
It's
from Reggie was playing well before he got the little, slight injury. Burks has been playing, out of this world. You know what I mean? Um, Outside of, you know what? I'm gonna pick a surprise faller. I'm gonna go with Quickly because he hasn't shot the ball well from the free throw line the last few weeks.
mm-hmm.
That's the one I'm going with. That's where I'm going.
Okay.
And that's not a bad thing. It's gonna
No, it's
happen. He's a
not. It's
rookie.
not.
He's a
It's
rookie.
not. Yeah.
He's still my guy. I still like you, Quick. Keep doing your damn thing. But it's been interesting how he's dropped a couple of he's missed a couple of those shots, and I think he's down now to like 89%.
The nerve of him.
The nerve.
It's
It's
really.
ridiculous.
I think he's
So
just he's just not locked in at the line the way he was. He lacks a little bit of focus.
yeah.
But
He's
it'll
playing in the
definitely
Big Apple, bro. You gotta give him
yeah,
something.
yeah. It'll come back. It'll come back. I mean, but listen, the way he was shooting was, I mean, there's a reason why he was shooting better than any other rookie
Right,
from the line or from any other player that has shot 100 free throws in their first 100 free throws.
right.
Look, it's okay. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's still shooting great.
Yeah. You're about to attack me. Well, why would you pick him?
No,
I'm
no, no.
sorry.
I like it.
I'm
I could
sorry.
honestly. I
It's
took the
hard to
easy one.
pick.
There was
Yeah,
nobody else
because
to pick. Who are you
everyone's
gonna
playing
pick? Derrick
well.
Rose?
Franklin Aquino. Yeah, Derrick Rose isn't even playing right now because of COVID. You can't pick
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
And then Frank. Who you gonna pick on Frank? Frank's just having an opportunity now to get some minutes. And he's doing the best he can at the moment. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna switch it quickly. Come back stronger next week. You got the top spot. You get my
That
rise there
works.
if you come back.
That works for now. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. And speaking of next week,
Oh,
do you
nice
happen to have that
transition there,
schedule
bud.
so that way we can
Oh,
see what we got going on, because these
yeah,
games are important.
for sure.
And
I'm going. I got you right now. Take a look. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bam.
oh man,
There
look
we
at this,
go.
like
Look at
magic.
that. Uh-huh.
All right. Ooh.
You missed it by a week though. I think we did the Magic game a week before. It would have been interesting if you would have like Magic and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Magic
That
was
would have been.
that would have been so good. Come
Yeah.
on.
I'm gonna work on it, man. I'm gonna work on it.
So
So
we didn't have the
yeah.
Magics. We had the 76ers and Wizards.
Oh. Now we got the Knicks
There's a little
and the
bit of
Bucks.
magic with the wizard, right? It's a wizard,
Yeah, no,
magic wizard.
that's true.
There's
So,
some
yeah,
there.
see, there you go. I'm on time. So the Knicks and the Bucks. Can you scroll down a little bit?
Sure. You want me to go past the Bucks game?
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
You know
Wow.
what's
So
an
we got.
interesting part of this one, though, before you
Hmm.
start making some predictions, Ron, is that we got home game. We got we got road game, home game, road game, and then we're just back to back. We're like playing one game and then we're back off. Like we're traveling after every game.
Oh man, look at this. Is
It's
another
crazy.
one. I didn't know another freaking.
Yeah, look, I'll
Yeah.
scroll down just a bit more. How crazy is that?
And then technically, even after the Pistons game, when we get to the Nets, it's not a home game, but it's still in the same, same area. It's New York.
And then right, and then we're going to Boston.
Wow. Huh. Interesting.
It's a
Okay.
weird turn of events. We're traveling almost the first few games. This is gonna be like this is a tough schedule, man.
Yeah.
You would think you would have like back to back, home games and then go travel, but that's crazy.
Well, it's the Knicks and Bucks, and that's not a revenge game because they're 1-1. It's basically blowout versus blowout. So I
Mhm.
guess I'm hoping that this game is a close game.
Yes, and I'm hoping that we have Derrick Rose. He's been on the fringe, right? He's
Yeah.
been, I'm really looking forward to, so we have actually 4 games coming up. So we have tomorrow the Bucks, we have the Heat on Monday, Wednesday we have the Timberwolves, and then if I scroll down again, I'll go right back to it. We have the Mavericks on that Friday night game, and that's the weekend we're gonna take a break from because we're gonna enjoy Easter vacation with our families and stuff. So we'll probably take a break and come back the following week sometime and kind of do a full-on recap. So if you want, we can go down the list all the way into, look at that, April 5th, Monday game against the Nets. We got the Celtics on Wednesday. Grizzlies. So let's say we got all the way to the 9th. We got the Grizzly game to end that kind of I don't know what to call this. This is just a weird schedule swing that we
It's
got.
not a home stretch. It's not a road
It's not.
stretch.
It's just a back and forth stretch.
Wow, this is
So
interesting. And let me tell you, this could be tough.
mhm,
There's some good games sprinkled in that the Knicks could win. You can win
right,
against the Timberwolves. You got the Mavericks you can win against, even though you don't know what Mavericks team you're going to get. And you got
right.
the Pistons. But the
Winnable
Bucks
game.
and the Heat are going to be 2 tough games right off the bat.
Right. hmm
And then you're going to have the Celtics again later
And
down the line.
the Heat have lost some interesting games
Yeah,
recently.
they've been they've been hurt. That's been
They've been
affecting.
back and forth. They've been somewhat ineffective in some games. So, it's a game that we could if we play close enough games with that team, we can potentially pull one out.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I agree.
so and we
And
played
let's
them pretty close last time,
yeah, we both times.
both times. Yeah.
That's the thing, man. I got to tell you, if the people around the league are looking, they know the Knicks is serious. You got to worry
hmm
because even the games they lose, they're in these games. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, there's been a couple blowouts, but not really. All these games
Right.
they have a chance to win.
Right. So what are we going? We're going. What do you think about the Bucks game? Let's go one by one. What do you think about the Bucks game?
I think the Bucks game. I think the Bucks are going to win again.
I'm
Uh,
taking the Knicks on the Bucks game.
whoa,
So let's
whoa.
we're gonna do this side by side. All right. I'm not gonna let you pick every one of them. We're gonna go 1-1. All right. So you're going with the Bucks. I'm going with the Knicks for that tomorrow's game.
Hmm.
All right.
All right. So
Go with the
okay.
Heat. I'll
Uh,
pick this one, and then you go.
oh,
Let's
okay.
try that one. Let's go
All
there.
right.
I'm saying the Knicks lose against the Heat.
Hmm. Okay. And I'm going to say that the Knicks beat the Heat.
Okay. Okay. So we're going 1-1 separate.
So you're basically saying the Knicks can't take the Heat.
Oh, ho, ho.
Uh,
Mm. Okay.
uh-huh.
I see what you did there. Who you got? Timberwolves or Knicks?
I got the Knicks.
I got the Knicks as well. Okay, Mavericks and Knicks. This is a big one, man. I've been telling you about this one. I'm going with the
Listen,
Knicks. We're taking this game seriously because we got that draft pick, and Tibbs gonna want to get back at them. So
I
let's.
think so too. I think this is kind of like one of those weird games where no matter what the schedule, like what your win record is, this is like a must win because this
Yeah,
affects something else. So
this
I'm
is one of
thinking,
those that they have like on their lockers, and like like the coaching staff
right?
is like, we gotta win this one.
Yes, and there's so many ex Knicks on this team, so
Right,
like it's gonna be an interesting battle, and it's a good thing that Porzingis is not a person who talks trash because
right,
this would be really physical between him and Randall, or it would be
right,
tough. But
right,
yeah,
right.
so I think Knicks.
Who you
I'm
going
picking
with?
the Knicks over the Mavericks.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. Pistons and Knicks. I'm going, or you go. You go first.
I'm gonna go with the Knicks.
I'm going Knicks too, baby. Here we go. So I like the way this is working.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Okay, can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah, let's go down to the next one. Who we got?
Yeah, so we got
Friday. We got okay, so we did the Friday Mavericks game, right? Pistons game, and then I'm gonna go up. So we get to that Monday. Nets versus Knicks. We have already lost. Did we lose two against them, or we lost one against them?
we lost 2 against them.
We
The
lost two
first
against
game,
them.
Durant was there.
Right.
I'm not picking the Knicks to beat the Nets. I'm sorry, I'm gonna take this L. I not now, man, not now. They got too much going on over there.
I'm taking the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks. Taking the Knicks. I'm taking the Knicks. I'm going. We
Oh
got to
man,
get one in New York. We have to get one in New York, and I think that's another game that Tibbs is going to have highlighted for the team. I think he's going to be like, look, we're coming into this game. We've lost two already. We can't lose New York's home advantage. We're the New York Knicks. We got it. We got to represent New York. So I'm going with the Knicks against Brooklyn on the 5th. And that's
now
East. That's like coming off of Easter Sunday too.
let me say one thing though.
Uh-huh.
I'm picking the Nets to win because I think, and plus, remember, we don't know. I don't know at this point, but Durant could be back. I don't know.
True. I don't care who's back. I don't care who's back.
Woo!
I don't
Talk
care who's back.
spicy. Let him
I'm not doing.
know.
I'm not doing that anymore. I'm taking the Knicks. Sit over it. I'm
If
over it.
if
They
the
could get like 4 more players. I don't give a crap. Come on, man. These guys they got like the all-star squad over there
tell him how
of
you
like
feel, John. Let him know,
4 years.
man.
They got an all-star team of 4 years ago, basically. They got a
Yesterday's
4-year,
All-Stars.
yesteryear's all-stars, basically.
If somehow the Knicks wind up with Andre Drummond, then
That's a possibility.
I will say that I'm gonna pick the Knicks. I know
That's what I'm talking about.
yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right.
I'm still going Knicks either way. Whether we get
I
Drummond or
like
we
it.
don't. I'm
I
going with
like it. Talk
Knicks.
spicy, my friend.
Yes,
I like
sir.
it.
Now, do I pick this one first?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Knicks and Celtics.
Celtics. I'm giving it to Celtics. I think we're gonna win that game, and it's gonna be so much built up to that game, and we're gonna play so energized that coming off of that Nets victory, we're gonna come across the Boston Celtics and lose that game because we're at a super high, and it's just a lot of energy expended.
I got you there. That makes sense because
So
that's going to be a war against those Nets. So yeah,
yeah,
either way,
and the Celtics got some firepower. So
that they do.
they got Fournier. That's a big move for that team.
They did get Fournier. Yeah,
It's kind of like what they're replacing Hayward, right? So
that's a good point.
that's what that looks like to me. So yeah, I'm gonna say we lose to the Celtics.
All right,
Not by
and
much,
then,
but we'll lose.
and then we got the Knicks and the Grizzlies to kind of wrap up that stretch, right?
Yes, sir. Let you pick the last one.
I'm gonna say the Knicks beat the Grizzlies.
I'm right there along with you, brother.
Although it would be nice to see Ja at Madison Square Garden, see if what he does. But yeah, I don't know. Grizzlies have been a funky team all year. I don't know what to say about them.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, but I'll go. I'm going with the Knicks too. I like the Knicks over the Grizz.
Yeah, all right. I mean, I like it.
So that's where we're at.
That being said, the Knicks could wind up with a pretty. I mean, if you're correct, the Knicks are going to wind up with a very nice record.
We're like number 3.
Yeah, so this would be interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm thinking that
I'm gonna stop sharing. All right.
all right, no problem. I'm thinking that regardless of what happens, if I'm correct, the Knicks will still come out looking like a pretty decent team and might be able to move
Right.
up in the playoff positioning. But if you're correct, even better. So,
right. Let's hope my predictions come out. Right?
Yeah. I'm going with your predictions for what I want, and then my predictions for what's more likely, possibly. I don't know. We'll see. And if they get Drummond, even better, yo. Even better.
I'm telling
if they get Drummond, my predictions are without
the
Drummond,
landscape.
so,
Yeah, exactly. If with Drummond, we might not even lose a game. Every stop.
Pump the brakes.
Pump the brakes. I'm off the ledge. I'm off the ledge.
I'm with you, but hey.
Listen, man, it's gonna be fun, man. I'm looking forward to this game, this long stretch of games we're gonna watch. We're gonna enjoy time with our family, of course.
Right.
And then what we'll probably do coming back off that weekend, we'll probably do a 2-for-1, right? Where we'll probably do what we normally do here, and then maybe do a sportscaster.
Yeah. Sounds
that
good.
weekend. No?
I like it.
Cool. That way we don't lose out on episodes.
Yeah. We keep the continuity going, because we're a professional program here. We're coming to you guys.
Guy.
Trying to entertain you, man. Yeah, you, and you. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, this once again has been great. I appreciate you, brother. It's good to see you.
Chopping it up with you.
We can chop it up about these Knicks.
Yeah,
I look forward to doing it the next time. And hopefully, when we do have our time off, enjoy yourself, enjoy your family.
Definitely. Same to you, brother.
Yeah, man. And Jose, as always, appreciate your help.
Pleasure.
Holding it down for us, man. Same to you. Wishing you the best, you and your family when we're off.
Yeah, man. He's making us look good. He's making us look good is what he's doing.
Exactly. And the viewers out there, you guys as well, man. Enjoy yourselves. When Easter comes up, do a little egg hunt and put little nicknames, Knicks, Nets, and other NBA teams on it. See if you find the Nick egg.
Make sure the Nick egg has a $20 bill in it or something,
You know what? And maybe, don't tell anybody, but
we'll put a penny in the Nets.
Anything else.
Put a penny, little copper penny in the Nets.
Yeah. And nobody wants that net egg. Get out of here. Plus, the Nets will be black and white. Knicks got some colors. It's more fun.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the Still Knick Fans podcast once again. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click that notification bell so you're notified when we post new episodes. And
share with a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend.
There you go. Let's get our numbers
find
up.
Us on Twitter at Still Knick Fans, or Instagram at Still Knick Fans. And feel free to make comments or suggestions. We'll listen to anything you got to say, man, because we're all a community together. And I'm out of here. That's my man, John. I'm Ron. We out of here.
All right, man. Peace.
It's a litmus test just to see who's best. Roll the dice, break the pipe, and let's see who's next.